Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Butch Mahinay, Education Program Supervisor in DepEd Region 10, Northern Mindanao. In this presentation, I'd be sharing to you our stories of hope, particularly with the use of the Dynamic Learning Program in the Alternative Learning System, or ALS. With my experiences in using DLP since 2011, I can say with confidence that DLP can really help us in ALS, particularly our teachers and our learners. As a backgrounder, the Alternative Learning System is a parallel system of DepEd that provides second chance education to our out-of-school youth and adults, and in extreme cases, out-of-school children with flexible learning options. In ALS, we provide basic literacy program which focuses on writing, reading, and counting, as well as the continuing education program for our elementary and junior high school learners. In 2019, the DepEd Central Office, through the ALS Task Force, released a new curriculum, which we call as the ALS 2.0, which is now aligned to the K-12 basic education program of the country. Now, with these changes, we must make new instructional materials, and this is where the DLP learning activity sheets come in handy for us in the alternative learning system. However, in 2017, we already did the integration of DLP in ALS. This is in ALS Division of Cagayan de Oro City. Actually, with this experience, our intentions were cemented to level it up or to expand it to the entire Region 10, wherein the expected beneficiaries are the 14 schools division offices of the region. To name, we have the Bukidnon, Camiguin, Cagayan de Oro City, El Salvador City, Ingoog City, Iligan City, Lanao del Norte, Malaybalay City, Misamis Occidental, Misamis Oriental, Oroqueta City, Ozamis City, Tangub City, and Valencia City. Wherein this will really involve 502 of our ALS teachers and the 2,000 plus literacy volunteers. And hopefully this will translate to our 30,000 plus ALS learners for the current school year. In our development of the DLP LAS, we involve not only the ALS teachers but also the formal school teachers. We strategize that the ALS teachers will serve as the writers, providing the needed context for the learning activity sheets, and our formal school teachers, who are the master teachers in senior high school, will provide the needed content expertise in every learning strand of the ALS curriculum. So for how many months in 2020, we finally came up with this number of DLP LAS for the ALS 2.0 learning strands, which we came up with 904 for the 6 learning strands. The learning strands will actually correspond to the subject areas in the formal school system. So if in your school you have 8 subject areas, in ALS we have 6 learning strands. But with this pandemic, to be honest, our activity sheets are still a work in progress. This pandemic really restricted us in our coordination, in our movement, and even in our communications. With these restrictions and with the alternative work arrangement of our teachers and of our content experts, we are really delayed in our deliverables. But nonetheless, starting in 2020 up to 2021, we were able to accomplish the curriculum mapping of the ALS curriculum, the development of the LAS, grammar checking, content review, anti-plagiarism testing, and assessment alignment, such that we were able to produce this dummy copy, which is already in softbound. And currently, these dummy copies are in the hands of our regional education program supervisors for conformance review using the standards of the Learning Resources Management and Development System of DepEd, that is the LRMDS. And to complete that process, we will then proceed to print layout review before this will go full blast in the printing press. In 2022, hopefully, we will come up with a version 2 of this compilation, hopefully to do improvement in illustrations, and then we will do more content editing, more contextualization, and perhaps adjustments in the level of difficulty. Our assessment practices in ALS was actually strengthened with the presence of the learning activity sheets. With the 904 learning activity sheets, we divided that in 10 months such that it is already clear for our teachers and learners on what to take up for each month. So we indicated that in our assessment form number 1, which we call the monthly individual learning agreement. And then we have the assessment form number 2, which is the monitoring of learners' progress, wherein our teachers will record the scores of the learners in this form. So this is like a class record, but in ALS, we do not actually compute grades and do retention or promotion of learners. So basically, we will use this to monitor our learners' progress. We will be able to know like which of the learners would be needing more learning interventions and who among of these learners are already prepared to take the accreditation and equivalency test, or the A&E test, which is the final assessment in ALS before they will be declared as completers. Even if we are still busy in reviewing the learning activity sheets, our teachers are already using these activity sheets at schools or at the community learning centers. So they print these activity sheets, and then the learners will go to the school to get the set of activity sheets intended for the week, and then we'll return it a week after. So these are actual posts of our ALS implementers in Facebook. Also, our ALS teachers do house-to-house LAS distribution, as you can see in this slide. Our teachers really are immersed in the community with the help of the literacy volunteers who are already stationed in each of these community. Not only that the activity sheets help us in our modular learning delivery, we maximized our activity sheets in our radio-based instruction. So our activity sheets served as the primary materials in the making of the radio scripts for the RBI. In fact, it is with ALS that the RBI actually originated. Like in Region 10, we've been implementing RBI for more than a decade already. So in this screen, you will see this implementer in Iligan City using the learning activity sheet while on air through 103.1 Wild FM in Iligan City. And another post is we have here an ALS implementer also on air in 90.1 FM in Bukidnon. Actually, we have a total of 13 radio stations where we coordinated in our implementation of the RBI spread across Region 10. So the context is, while our teachers are doing the radio show, our ALS learners, while at their homes or at the community learning centers, they are following the flow with the use of their learning activity sheets. So with this, the RBI served as a complementary learning modality for our learners as they accomplish the learning activity sheets. And just this month, all of our ALS teachers started their academic journey at the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, or USTP, for their professional learning development. We coordinated with USTP for the continuing professional learning course for our ALS teachers. USTP is a state university located in Cagayan de Oro City. During the co-designing of the learning courses, we emphasize that the learning activity sheets will be used as the main reference, the primary materials in the learning process. The intention here is that even if we have a complete set of learning activity sheets from learning strand number 1 up to learning strand number 6, but if our teachers cannot relate to these learning activity sheets because the teacher find the topic difficult, the consequence is that the teacher might skip or not use the learning activity sheet. So in this continuing professional learning course, which will run for a total of 5 years, all the learning activity sheets will be used in depth with their professors, such that later on, our teachers will have the confidence in using all of these learning activity sheets. So in the process, we are assured that all the learning competencies and all the learning activity sheets are really maximized by our teachers for their learners. Finally, in ALS, we champion the delivery of inclusive education. We really believe that no learner should be left behind. The nature of our learners are out-of-school youth and adults. We also have learners coming from the indigenous peoples. Specifically, we have the 7 tribes in Bukidnon. Then we also have the illiterate adults. And then we have learners in special cases. We have the former rebels. We have the drug rehab residents. We have persons deprived of liberty, persons with special needs. And then we also have learners who are children in special cases, particularly the children at risk and the children in conflict with the law. So in the alternative learning program, we have learners coming from all walks of life. And because of that, we are very dedicated and we are really working hard to deliver quality, relevant, and accessible education to all of our ALS learners. We believe that second chance education need not to be second class. That is all for now. Thank you very much.